as I said, we are going to talk about how to create your niche. And I'm going to, or niche if you're French, I don't know. I am going to cover 3 ways to kind of whittle it down and decide. Because you could, hello Idaho. If you guys keep putting in where you're calling from, I'm gonna keep saying hello to you. I know we could be here all day just talking about where you're from. So we got Texas, we got Chicago, we got Idaho, and now we're getting back on topic. Because as you can see, Jessica gets very squirreled easily, like squirrel. Okay. All right, we're gonna get serious now. I just feel like you're all here with me, so I feel your energy, and then I just want to entertain you. All right. So to create your niche, there are a couple of different ways to go about it. You can decide, well, what are you passionate about? Because if you're passionate about it, you want to, you're going to want to talk about it. Like, in other words, if I sold gym memberships, which I did when I was right out of college, I was very passionate about that because I believed in health. I believed in fitness. I believed in working out and yoga and weights and the whole thing. So I was very passionate about it. Now, if I had had to sell, let's say, car motors at the time, even now, I don't know anything about car motors. I'm not passionate about it. But boy, do I know some people who are passionate about cars and taking them apart and putting them together, and like, boy, oh boy, that's their thing. So if you are passionate about your niche, you're gonna talk about it more. You're gonna enjoy researching it more. You're gonna enjoy, just everything about it. You're gonna be totally tuned in. On another side of it, there's what are your areas of expertise? Now, this isn't necessarily the same thing about what you're passionate about. Like, I could be absolutely passionate about kayaking, which I am, but it's not actually an area of expertise for me. Like, I couldn't take people down every river in the United States and know about them. And I don't know everything there is to know about the kayak. I just kind of know how to make it move. I can go forwards, I can go backwards, and that's pretty much it. And I stay up. But if I had to go down a rapid, I wouldn't quite know how to maneuver the kayak in any special way. I had no training. So just because you have a passion for something doesn't mean it's necessarily your area of expertise. However, this is a good way to, again, choose a niche, because if it is your area of expertise, you're going to know how to really talk about it and make people feel very confident that you are an expert. All right. And then the third is, it's maybe not, has nothing to do with you. It's who do you want to help? And we're going to go through each one of these. So this way you can see what I'm talking about. So the first one is, what are you passionate about? Well, this is Jessica. Okay, this is what, well, that's J-Lo, but I'm passionate about the fact that I was at her concert. So I love spas and wellness. So if I were a travel agent, I would definitely focus on wellness. I would be sending people to Miraval all the time. I would, I'd be finding yoga teachers. I'd be finding people in the health industry, like nutritionists, like people who want to do retreats. That would be my area of expertise, retreats. Because, you kind of look at everything that I like to do. I like spa and wellness. I like concerts. I like kayaking. Well, pretty much I love outdoor activities, adventures, especially water related. Yoga is a huge passion of mine, do it daily, and personal development. That's the industry I've been in since I was in my early 20s. So you put all those things together, and for me, that says a retreat. So, the concerts might not be J-Lo at the retreat. It might be, some type of new agey kind of music that they're playing. But, I can definitely tie in everything else to a retreat, and it could be anywhere. And I can find personal development people who want to do retreats. I can find, like I said, chiropractors, nutritionists, yoga instructors, even people who have Like I have a friend whose brand is Cali Loco, and they do compression workout clothes. And she could sponsor a retreat for her people because they could wear her clothes, and there can be a yoga, there could be yoga there and all kinds of things that have to do with wellness. All right. So think about what you're passionate about. And maybe, what I did, which was interesting, is I went through my pictures. So I don't know if you could see this, but I have a little photos tab here, and I went through my pictures and to look for pictures to share on here. And what I noticed was the majority of my pictures either had me doing yoga, had me at different concerts, because since I've moved to Vegas, I've been to tons of them. It had to do with like wellness and spas and what I drink and my kombucha and things like that. And then all the water things I do. I was out on boats, I was on kayaks, I was on sea-doos, I was by the beach, I was by the lake. And then there's hiking ones too. So as I said, like I do like outdoor adventure. And then personal development, well, let's face it, I mean, tons of my pictures, if you go back to the very beginning of when I first got my Mac in 2008, I mean, I've been teaching, you can't see the PowerPoint any longer, then you might want to just log back in because it's up and I am moving the slides, so you should be able to see it. So, I've been doing personal development since the beginning of time. So I've got pictures of me on tons of stages. Can you guys believe I actually spoke to other people before you? I feel like you're like you're my peeps. Like there was never anyone before my Inteletravel agents, but there were lots and lots of people. So these, 5 things really capture my passion. And then I say, well, what is a niche for that? And I don't have to just focus on wellness retreats. I can have a certain cruise line that, has a specific ship and destinations and a whole itinerary, what's that? Itinerary that focuses on wellness. So, I mean, it could be brands that I focus on. There might be certain partners that we have. If you haven't watched the G Adventures webinar yet that we had on Tuesday, that's a great way to create some niches for yourself because they are so niched with different ways. So you could even just watch different, now I have to go to show you something. You can go to different, hello Inteletravel, go to your IntelliTutorial library, and you can even browse by category, and this can give you some ideas for niches. Maybe adventure travel, maybe you're the specialist in Asia and South Pacific, beach travel, couples and adults travel, escorted tours travel, ski. You can look at that, but what you can do is you can watch these different IntelliTutorials on the different vendors to kind of see what they have and what's possible, and then you can kind of niche according to that. All right. See, I'm telling you, there's so many different ways to niche. So what are your areas of expertise? So you might be an expert in a location or a place. So, I've lived in New York and Los Angeles and South Florida and Las Vegas. And, I had friends in town the other day and they were talking about how they're on the Strip and it's so expensive. Like drinks are $15 to $20 a drink. Well, I told them about the old section of Las Vegas where it's not $15 a drink, and like here it is. You can actually these are a bunch of people who are zip lining through the area, and so I'm not actually a specialist, or I'd actually remember the name of the street, the area that's called, but I've already forgotten it. So but I've only been here 6 months, so give me credit for going to a bunch of places. But the thing is that you can specialize in a location. but you want to make sure it's a location that a lot of people like to visit. Like a lot of people come to Las Vegas because there are conventions here, there are all kinds of things. And, you can turn it, if they know that you're a Las Vegas specialist, some of your marketing language, like we'll get Fremont Street. Thank you. Who am I thanking? Hold on, I got to pull this over and see who I'm thanking. Jawanda, what? Yes, it's Jawanda and Melissa. Okay, and yeah, Fremont Street. That's right. Wasn't Fremont Street? No, it was. So if you would be marketing yourself, you'd be saying, hey, I'm a Las Vegas specialist. Most of you probably think it's just the Strip because that's where you go to conventions. But guess what? You can kayak down the Colorado River. You can climb in the Red Rock Mountains. Like there's, exclusive spas and so many different things and restaurants and stuff off of the Strip. I would love to share what your next convention can turn into a week vacation and adventure for you. So you could do something like that. All right, then we've got topics. So what are you an expert in history? Are you an expert in health? Are you an expert in business? Are you an expert in the environment? Like think about areas where you have expertise. Like I am an expert when it comes to writing. I write books, I write blogs, I write newsletters. I used to do a course, how to write a book in 30 days. Like, so I could do, I could do again, like I can call them writing retreats where I'm teaching them how to outline your book in 7 days. And I can, and plus all the other stuff that would go on. So think about a topic that you're an expert in that you could turn into a niche, because I'm telling you, a 7-day how to write your book, and you could even do like how to write a book in 7 days. I could actually teach them something like that. Or how to create enough blog material for your next year in 7 days. Or how to do 30 days of social media posts in 3 days. And then you do a 3-day cruise. And like all of these things can be turned into a cruise, a vacation, all of that stuff, okay? So then we have hobbies. And this one is huge, y'all. This one is huge. And I think I've given this example before, but I'm going to give it again because I think people should be niching in it. Okay, so we've got sports that people have as hobbies, wine, food, arts, crafts, literature. I've even Googled most expensive hobbies, and it's cars, ice sculpture, a lot of water sports. Okay, a lot of water sports are very expensive hobbies. But think about this, crafts. So here I have a picture of quilts. Now, let's say you have someone who lives in a 55 and older community, okay, very active community, you know them, and they're in a quilting group, okay, and there are, I don't know, 20 people, primarily women, but there are two male quilters in there. I want to give them a shout out. They're there. They like to quilt. All right, so we've got 20 quilters who meet every week in their clubhouse, and they quilt together and they talk and they bond and they share stories about their grandkids or hiking that they did or some kind of pickleball. I'm learning all these new things now that my parents live in the 55 and older community. What in the world is pickleball? Apparently they are very competitive and there's a lot of hips being broken because of it. So beware of pickleball. Okay, anyway, back to this incredible opportunity for you. So we're looking at your 5-year plan. You want to be making 6 figures, and the way to do it is through groups. So you go to this person who you know that has this 20-person group, and you say to them, why don't we send you on a 7-day cruise that has 4 different ports? This way you can get t-shirts and fabrics and yarns and little trinkets that you can sew onto your quilt, and you can have a quilt from that port. And they're like, oh my goodness, that's a great idea. So they do it, And then they all start posting in their Facebook group, which has quilters from all over the world. And then they also post pictures on their quilting chat rooms. And then they bring it to their quilting meetup that in their city that they go to, and they post pictures which wind up on Meetup. And so quilters from all over the world who are on Meetup see that these people are doing, quilting cruises. And then you say, okay, so next year we're going to send you on a quarterly quilting trip. So this way you're going to have 4 different destinations, all with different ports and cities, and depending, if they want to keep doing, cruises. And this way, by the end of the year, you're going to have your 2020 travel quilt. And they're like, oh, we love that idea. But now they're going to start inviting their friends from Facebook and Meetup and all the people who are not just in their 20. So your group of 20 now turns into a group of 100 quilters. But the problem is, come year 3, there are so many more quilters who can't make the 4 specific weeks that you chose. So now you have the same itinerary for an entire quarter, and any quilter who wants to go can just jump on during that week that they can make, right? So now you've got quilting cruises going just about every week. Some of them are small groups, just 8 people, but that's all you need for the group. Some of them are bigger groups, but you've got cruises going out every week. So now in year 4 and year 5, those groups are growing in number because now you're encouraging them, hey, we know you're quilting, but why not invite your family and your grandkids and have them all come on the cruise? You'll have your quilting time, but then you'll also have your memory making time. I mean, y'all are going to be swimming in quilting commissions, okay? So that is what you do with a hobby. Talk about a great niche. Find a hobby and do that. All right. Then there's people that might be your area of expertise. You might be a speech pathologist, and your entire career you've been working with people and their speech. So you have a lot of people in your database that you can invite, and you're going to do a specific talk. One day you'll arrange it with your BDM, which is your business development manager for you newbies. Believe me, I didn't know what one was either. And you are going to do a talk during the day, one talk on something that has to do with speech and how they can help others, in their communities, whatever. Or maybe it's kids, or maybe it's seniors, or maybe it's sports teams, or pageants, or couples, or newlyweds. These are all groups of people that you can niche in. And that ties kind of into the last part of this, which is, who do you want to help? Do you want to help people who are getting married or having honeymoons? And then you can do their baby moons, and you can do their bachelorette and bachelor parties. You can have an entire thing based around couples and the different, and the different seasons of their lives. I mean, you can then make sure once they've had their wedding and they've had their honeymoon, you can say, okay, next we have to plan your 1-year anniversary. Then, we're going to do your and you can have, you can look at what each year is. Oh, this year is paper. So we're going to send you to this place. This year's, and you can have different themes for whatever the years are. This year is gold, so we're going to send you to, this place, and, you're going to work it out with the husband that he's going to buy her something gold, and, help the husbands. Sometimes the husbands need a little help with, those gifts. And for all you husbands who are about to yell at me because you're the most thoughtful guys in the world, I bow down to you. We love husbands who are incredibly thoughtful and attentive. And shout out to all you wives too. I don't want to, you all got it going on. All right, just shout out to everyone. Here we go. So next we've got, maybe you want to work with people you want to help who have accessibility issues. We have cruise lines that can handle dialysis. We have cruise lines that handle, every cruise line pretty much can help people, anyone in a wheelchair or with a scooter, people who have walkers, or whatever the situation might be, who have challenges, with accessibility and being able to travel. Well, you can specialize in that area so people know that you are the go-to person so that their whole family can go and enjoy. So again, you start off with the niche, which is you're going to focus on the person who has never thought they could travel because they're in a wheelchair, and you're going to, they're going to go with their husband on some wonderful trip, and then you're going to say, hey, now that you know you can travel, who else do you want to travel with? What other people do you know that have been, that have some type of accessibility challenge, and we can create a cruise for all of you. And now that you all know that you can cruise and love it, why don't we bring your families? Because I bet you always thought you couldn't go away with your family because of your accessibility challenges. All right, then we've got Autism Speaks. So you can find, you want to help families that have a child with autism, and you're going to specialize in maybe Royal Caribbean since they have autism specialists there. Okay, or maybe you're a Sigma Delta Tau like I was, or whatever sorority or fraternity, and you want to be able to help keep them all together. And every year you're going to do an annual trip where they all meet. And this way, again, sororities are kind of like hobbies. There are sorority chapters all over the US, and I don't know how they work outside the country for you UK and Mexico agents, but if you got them, sure, it works the same way. You've got chapters all over. So it becomes something that, oh, well, I don't know that chapter, but, maybe my chapter can go too. But what happens if some people can't go that week? So the next year you start having, Sigma Delta Tau or whatever your sorority is, and you have monthly, and you have quarterly, and this way they can figure out which one they can go to, but it doesn't necessarily have to be just because it's their chapter, because the way it works is that you're all one big sisterhood or brotherhood if you're in a fraternity. So who do you want to help? Figure that out. Okay, so